She thought the human was weak. Then he stood against her army commander. Zara stood tall on the bridge of her massive warship, watching the small blue planet below. Her silver skin gleamed under the red battle lights as her 4 arms worked the control panels with deadly precision. The Valkyrian Empire had conquered 47 star systems, and Earth would be number 48. The humans looked so fragile through her scanning devices. They had soft pink skin, no natural armor, and only 2 arms. Pathetic creatures that would fall within hours of her invasion fleet arriving. Zara had seen their primitive weapons and laughed. Their metal projectiles and explosive devices were nothing compared to Valkyrian plasma technology. Her second-in-command approached with his head bowed low. "Commander, the human governments are sending messages. They wish to negotiate." Zara turned her massive form toward him, her red eyes glowing with amusement. "Negotiate with what? They have nothing we want, except their planet. Tell them they have 1 rotation to surrender or we will take it by force." The message was sent, and Earth fell silent for several hours. Then something unexpected happened. A single human ship rose from the surface. It was tiny. Compared to her fleet, barely larger than one of her fighter craft, yet it approached without fear, broadcasting on all frequencies. "This is Captain Ryan aboard the vessel Freedom." Zara heard the transmission echo through her ship. "I speak for Earth. We reject your terms." Zara leaned forward in her command chair, studying the approaching vessel. The human ship was crude welded metal plates and basic propulsion systems, but there was something about its approach that made her pause. It moved with purpose, not panic. "You are 1 ship against my entire battle fleet, human. Do you think this is wise?" The human voice came back steady and calm. "Maybe not. But sometimes 1 person has to stand up first." Others follow. Zara felt a strange sensation in her chest, something she had never experienced before during her conquests. The human was not begging for mercy or trying to buy time. He was simply standing his ground against impossible odds. "Open fire," she commanded. Her gunners hesitated. "Commander, that ship poses no threat." I said, "Open fire." The plasma cannons charged and fired brilliant beams of energy, streaking toward the small human vessel. Zara expected it to be vaporized instantly. Instead, the ship twisted and rolled, avoiding the deadly beams, with movements that should have been impossible for such a basic craft. The human pilot was doing something Zara had never seen before. He was using his ship's weakness as strength. The crude vessel was so simple it could maneuver in ways her advanced ships could not. It spun and dove like a living creature, dancing between her weapons' fire. More human ships began rising from the planet's surface, dozens, then hundreds, each one different from the others. Some were military vessels, others looked like converted cargo ships or even personal craft. They came anyway, flying toward her massive fleet without hesitation. Commander Zara watched in growing amazement as the humans formed a defensive line between her ships and their world. The vessels were outgunned, outmatched, and outnumbered. Yet they held their position. "We have destroyed many of their ships," her weapons officer reported. "They keep coming." "How many?" "Over 3,000 human craft are now in space. More are launching every minute," Zara felt. Something she had never experienced in 20 years of conquest uncertainty. She had expected the humans to surrender after seeing her power. Instead, they were choosing to fight. The battle raged for hours. Her advanced weapons cut through human ships, but for every one destroyed, 2 more seemed to take its place. The humans fought with a ferocity that shocked her. They rammed her vessels when their weapons failed. They used debris as projectiles. They turned cargo haulers into guided missiles. It was not just their tactics that disturbed Zara. It was their voices. She could hear them on the communication channels, calling out to each other, coordinating attacks, sharing information. Even as their ships burned around them, they continued to fight. "Hold the line," came one voice. "My engines are gone, but I can still ram that cruiser." Another ship moved in to cover a damaged ally. "We got you." "Sarah, fall back and regroup." The human called Ryan was still out there in his small vessel, now leading a group of fighters against her flagship. He had been in space for 8 hours, yet his voice remained strong. Commander Zara. Your ships are powerful, but you made one mistake. What mistake, human? You thought we would fight like you. One commander giving orders to scared soldiers, but we are not like you. We fight for each other, for our families, for our world. Every person up here chose to be here. Zara looked around her bridge. Her crew followed orders because they feared punishment. The humans were fighting because they wanted to. Something else was happening that she had never seen in her conquests. Other star systems were sending messages to Earth, offering assistance. Former colonies of the Valkyrian Empire were rising in rebellion, inspired by humanity's resistance. Commander, a new voice cut through her thoughts. It was her fleet admiral. We are receiving reports of uprisings in 7 star systems. The humans broadcast their fight across subspace. Other species are joining them. Impossible, Zara snarled. No one has ever resisted the Empire this long. The admiral's next words chilled her. The human resistance has lasted 19 hours, Commander. We have lost 40% of our fleet. They should have surrendered by now. Zara looked out. At the battlefield, human ships continued to arrive from the planet's surface. Now they were being joined by vessels from other worlds. Species that had been conquered by her empire were coming to fight alongside Earth. The human Ryan's voice filled her bridge again. Commander Zara. We know your name now. Your reputation. We have something you do not understand. What is that, human? Hope. When one person stands up, others find their courage. When one world fights back, others remember their freedom. Your empire is built on fear. But today, fear dies, as if his words were a signal. Explosions lit up space around Zara's fleet. Ships from a dozen different species had arrived, all fighting together against the Valkyrian forces. The rebellion was spreading, faster than she could contain it. For the first time in her military career, Zara gave the order she never thought she would speak. All ships retreat to hyperspace. The human. Ryan responded immediately. Will you return? Zara paused, looking down at the blue world that had defied her. Not today, human. Maybe never. Why? Because today you taught me something I thought impossible. One person can change everything. When you stood alone against my fleet, you showed others how to be brave. The galaxy will never be the same as her remaining ships jumped to hyperspace. Zara found herself thinking about the human captain who had faced her entire army without fear. She had underestimated them all. Later in her private quarters, Zara reviewed the battle recordings. The humans had lost thousands of ships, but they had won something more important. They had proven that courage was contagious. One person's bravery had inspired an entire galaxy to fight back against oppression. She thought about Ryan's small ship, dancing between her weapons, about Sarah's determination, about the voices calling out support for each other. The humans had not just defended their world, they had reminded the galaxy what freedom looked like. The Valkyrian Empire would never recover from this defeat, not because of the ships lost, but because the idea had spread. One person standing up for what is right could inspire others to do the same. The humans had weaponized hope itself. Zara made a decision that would have been unthinkable. That morning, she opened a secure channel to Earth, specifically to the human called Ryan. Captain. Ryan, this is Commander Zara. The response came quickly. Commander, I thought you had left. I have a question for you, human. When you first launched, did you think you could win? Ryan's laugh came through the communication system clearly. Not really, but sometimes you fight anyway. Not because you think you will win, but because it is the right thing to do. Those words would echo in Zara's mind for years to come. She had learned that true strength was not about superior weapons or larger armies. It was about the willingness to stand up for others, even when the odds seemed impossible. The human had been right. One person could change everything. Today, Ryan had changed the galaxy.